What's going on, guys? Back at it after a little brief hiatus. Your boy A is back on the mic. E was holding it down for a couple of vids. UFC 310 in Las Vegas. We got Kai Asakura taking on Alexandre Pantoja. But we're gonna go fight by fight, give you our picks for each fight and our breakdown, starting with the first one in the heavyweight division. We have Kennedy and Nzechukwu taking on Lukasz Brzeski. Lucas Brzeski, he's most famously known for fraud checking Walter Walker. Kennedy and Nzechukwu just recently moved up to the heavyweight division, looked fantastic against Chris Barnett, absolutely schooled Chris Barnett. Looking like a problem in the heavyweight division. I'm leaning towards Kennedy and Nzechukwu in this matchup. I feel like he has all the advantages. Give me your thoughts, E.
Yeah, Kennedy and Nzechukwu, big favorite on this one, man. Big favorite. I don't see how he loses this one. Lucas, Brzeski, Titsky, whatever you want to call him. He wasn't looking good, man. He has a notable win over Walter Walker, who's probably not the best. You know what I'm saying? So looks like the UFC setting him up. Him meaning Kennedy and Nzechukwu to get a nice knockout win, get the crowd hyped. You know what I'm saying? Heavyweight and Nzechukwu is looking like a beast. But then he also fought Chris Barnett last fight up. So hard to say, but I'm gonna go with Kennedy and Nzechukwu to win this by knockout.
Yeah, man.
Pretty
Seems
easy,
like
pretty easy
a
prediction here.
Yeah, exactly. Seems like an easy pick. On to the next one. We have my boy, one of the OGs, Clay the Carpenter, Guida, taking on the young up and coming prospect and Chase the Dream Hooper. Chase low key has been in the UFC for a minute already, man. He came in at 18 years old. He's 25, 7 years in the game. So he's definitely not young. He's young in general, but he's not young in the game. Chase Hooper's been looking very good at 155 since moving up. His striking looked much improved against the likes of Borishev. Dropped him, tapped him out. Chase Hooper's been looking good. Guido, on the other hand, he's been on a slid. Two-fight losing streak has not looked good. He's nearly 43 years of age. I feel like this is another easy pick. I got Chase Hooper, and I think he's gonna grind him out by via decision. It's gonna be easy. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, easy prediction on this one, man. Young Chase Hooper, 25 years old in the prime of his life. Dude cut his hair. He no longer looked like Ben Askren's son. So he changing up his whole image, you know what I'm saying? Coming back. He's on a actually what is he, a 3-fight win streak? And he's been looking good, submission after submission. Yo, he submitted Jordan Levitt. That's tough. That's tough. Jordan Levitt is nice,
The
man. The
twerk
Monkey
god
King.
himself.
The Monkey King Chase Hooper, why'd you knock my dad out?
Yo, that was
George
crazy.
Masvidal, man. Shout out to George Masvidal. His reaction was a legitimate, real reaction. Shout out to him. But Clay Guida, damn near 40 years old.
He is
What did they
40
say,
plus.
man? One guy on his way in, one guy on his way out type of thing. But
Yes,
big
sir.
favorite. I'm not mad at it. Chase Hooper, I can see him winning this by submission, man. Let's get it.
Yes, sir. On to the next one. We have at the 170-pound division. We have Michael the Maverick Chiesa taking on Max Payne Griffin. Max Griffin is one of the unranked fighters at 170 pound in the deep 170-pound division. That is a killer. He's not a ranked guy, but he is an absolute stud. He puts the beating on dudes that aren't ranked, that aren't top 15 material. Michael Chiesa, on the other hand, he loses a lot of fights that he's favored in. He's bigger than a lot of the people he fights at 170, but for some reason he just can't figure it out. And he's 2-3 in his last five. All he lost by submission to Luque. He lost by decision to Brady. He lost by submission to Kevin Holland. And then his only win recently is Tony Ferguson. And Tony Ferguson is basically a free donation at this point for anybody that's fighting him. I'm gonna have to go with Max Griffin in this one. I think Michael Chiesa is just a little bit on paper. Michael Chiesa should be able to win this fight, but Max Griffin, man, I feel like he has a little more left in the tank. I feel like he'll avoid the submissions just enough. He'll eye strike Chiesa and get the job done either by late TKO in round 2 or 3 or by decision.
Man, the odds for this fight are damn near even, man. It's very hard to predict. On one side, you have a solid wrestler, Michael Chiesa, who has an easy path to victory if he utilizes his grappling, utilizes his wrestling, submission, all that. And on the other side, you have a striker in Max Griffin, who's a little bit older, but then at the same time, dude has crazy knockout power. Got like nine knockouts on his record. This is a very crazy toss-up. I know you went with Max Griffin on this one, but I'm gonna have to disagree, man. I see an easier path to victory for Michael Chiesa. I think either the UFC really loves him or he's a solid fighter. One or the other. Can't be both. So for this one, I'm gonna have to go with Michael Chiesa, man. He is the younger fighter. Y'all know how I feel about the younger fighters in any matchup. But like I said, this is a 50-50 fight no matter which way you look at it, man, because both guys have clear paths to victory. Max Griffin in the stand-up, Chiesa in the ground game. I'm gonna have to go with Michael Chiesa, man. It's hard to go up against a solid wrestler against a striker. I think he's still got something left in the tank, man. I don't think his best days are behind him. Chiesa, I could see him winning this one, man. I'm gonna give him a split decision victory. I think he could pull it out the bag, 2 rounds to 1 type of thing. You feel me?
Hey man, we parting ways on this prediction. You're going Chiesa, I'm going Max Griffin. It is really that close, exciting fight. Could go either way, man. That's the UFC for you, man. Uncle Dana stay giving us the fights that we want to see. On to the next one. We have in the flyweight division, Cody Durden taking on Joshua Van. Joshua Van's hype train got a little derailed by that Charles Johnson knockout, but he came back against the flyweight Poatan and Edgar Chairez and looked very good. It was a war. Joshua Van got his lick back, got that victory. Cody Durden, on the other hand, he was on a little bit of a skid, but his last performance against Matt Schnell, he looked very impressive. Matt Schnell is definitely on his way out, so I don't want to put too much weight into that performance, but Cody Durden looked damn good against Matt Schnell. But I feel like his run will end against Joshua Van, man. I think Joshua Van's just a little too young, a little too hot, got a little too much hype. He's gonna be too confident. He's gonna be thrown with heavy leather. He's still Joshua Van believes in his power too much right now. He's still got that little bit of young fighter overconfidence in him. He's gonna believe too much in his power, and it's gonna work right now eventually, and he'll run into a guy that's gonna grapple too good, got a little bit too much good of a chin. Won't be able to drop him, won't be able to hurt him. But for now, I think Joshua Van got this easy by knockout. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, man. The flyweight division, Joshua Van, solid, man. I don't. It's hard to see him losing many fights in this division. Cody Durden, I think, looks like he's moving down from bantamweight to flyweight, and he's the older fighter. That's never a good mix. He's damn near 10 years older than Joshua Van. He does have some notable fights, man. The Charles Johnson fight was a good one. Tagir Ulanbekov, who's a top flyweight. Matt Schnell, yeah, he beat him, but we all know Matt Schnell's almost done with. Like you said, Bruno Silva, he did lose to him in a knockout. I don't know, man. 10 years difference. I'm gonna have to go with Joshua Van just off of age alone, and he's younger, faster. I read to the younger part, but yeah, he's faster, he's quicker, and that fight against Edgar Chairez, the flyweight Poatan, he looked good on that one. That was a banger of a fight, man. Very underrated fight. I'm gonna have to go with Joshua Van winning this one. Can I see him get the finish? That's the question at this point. I could see him winning just the method. I'm gonna go with him winning by decision. I could see him winning this by decision.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that. On to the next one we have in the men's middleweight division. And that's still my boy, Chris, the All-American Weidman, taking on Eryk, your boy, Anders. Some skill-based matchmaking going on. Both guys aren't the greatest of fighters in the UFC in the current landscape. Chris Weidman, 2-3 in his last five. Eryk Anders, 2-3 in his last five. No coincidence. Two guys that aren't doing too hot fighting against each other. That's kind of how the UFC likes to matchmake. It's skill-based matchmaking. If you're on a roll, they match you with guys on a roll. If you're losing, they match you with guys that are losing. In this matchup, everyone's saying Chris Weidman's too old. But Eryk Anders, on the other hand, is also nearly 38 years of age. Both fighters, in my opinion, are old. I do think Eryk Anders is a little more durable still than Chris Weidman. Chris Weidman, I feel like his chin's gone. It's a tough matchup to pick, but I'm gonna go with Chris Weidman, man. I think he's gonna be able to sneak out one final victory by decision, and he'll call it a career after that. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to agree. For a second, I thought you were gonna lean towards Eryk Anders on this one,
I
but
should, man, but I feel like my feelings got involved.
and that's still my boy.
Yes, sir.
But on some real, man, this fight was scratched off the MSG card and was moved on to this one. Chris Weidman, I think the UFC trying to set him up, give him a nice win to go out on top and just retire. Dude is damn near 40 years old. He's coming off the UFC's first ever double eye poke finish that the refs, the judges, nobody even said
Looking
nothing.
like prime John Jones.
So I don't know if if it's a little bit of favoritism, because Chris Weidman, man, at one point was a damn near world champion. They thought this dude was gonna beat John Jones. He beat Silva back to back. Like
He was the world champ.
he was the world champ. But I'm saying like he could have been the top,
They
like
thought he was gonna be like a double champ. I know what you're
yeah,
talking about.
yeah,
They
yeah.
wanted to
They
fight,
thought he was
make him
gonna be
fight
one of
John Jones
them.
and all that.
They thought he was gonna be one of them boys, and he could have been. Truthfully, he could have been. He had that potential, but hey, listen, life has different plans for
Life
everybody.
comes at you
So
fast, bro.
yeah, and he hasn't really been the same since that injury. That has to be said. He didn't really look good in his last fight either. But I feel like that wrestling, man, he's been wrestling his whole life. I feel like that advantage is gonna be there, and it's gonna be glaring in this one because Eric Anders is predominantly a striker. So I feel like the path to victory for Weidman is definitely there. But then he could very well lose this one too because he's so chinny. And this fight is at catch weight. I don't know, man. Very even fight. I'm gonna have to go with Chris Weidman. I think he gets this one done. I think he uses his wrestling, probably wins a split decision. You know what I'm saying? Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy at all. And probably
Yeah, man.
retires. Who knows?
Yeah, man. Tough one to call. We're both going with Weidman. We feel like that grappling's gonna give him just enough of an edge to get that decision. On to the next one. Men's welterweight division, we got Rude Boy Randy Brown taking on the Butcher Bryan Battle. Bryan Battle, man, he's a killer, man. He's been steamrolling pretty much everybody he's fought in the UFC. He ran into Renat Fakhradinov, got a little bit of a fraud check situation going on in that one. But before that and after that fight, Bryan Battle's been damn near unstoppable in the UFC. Randy Brown, on the other hand, after his submission loss to JDM, he's been on a tear, man. He had a unanimous decision over Wellington Turman. He had the KO over Muslim Salikhov. Then he had a unanimous decision over the unranked champ at 170 in Zaleski dos Santos. We all know Zaleski gets busy, man. One of the most well-rounded unranked fighters in the company. Randy Brown's on a roll, but I'm gonna have to go with the Butcher on this one, man. He's the Ultimate Fighter winner. He's looking real good. He was originally a 185-pound fighter, so you know he's going to have a little bit of that size, that strength advantage. I feel like his striking is more crisp. And Randy Brown is a good grappler, but Bryan Battle has good wrestling, man. I don't think he's going to be able to get it to the ground. So I'm going to go Bryan Battle, and I think he's going to do it by TKO. Rude Boy has shown he's a little bit chinny in the past. Give me your thoughts.
Man, Queens in the building. Shout out Rude Boy Randy Brown. That's that dude, man. That's that dude. That's that hometown. I'm from New York, so you know I gotta represent. But I can't really pick against the Butcher, man. The Butcher is the freaking truth. He's the truth, man. Y'all thought the Butcher was gonna lose to a French dude? Get the hell out of here.
Never.
I'm gonna have to go with Bryan Battle on this one. He is the slight favorite, but then at the same time, man, dude is young. He's younger. The reach advantage is very similar, but that youth, man, he got that power. He also got that confidence, that aura of invincibility. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're on a roll, you on a roll, man. So for that reason, I'm gonna have to go with Bryan Battle. This one, I'm predicting this one could be a fight of the night because Randy Brown comes to throw it down, and he got that dog in him too. So it's like you could, you can't really go wrong with either pick. But if I had to bet, man, I'm gonna have to go with Bryan Battle winning this one by. Ooh, a knockout? You think so? I'm gonna go with the TKO Bryan Battle. I think he shuts his lights out maybe the third round or something.
Hey man, that would be an absolute scene. Both going with Bryan Battle on this one. On to the next fight. This is a hardcore fans. All the hardcore fans are talking about this matchup. We got the undefeated Russian and Movsar Evloev in the featherweight division taking on one of the best 135-pound fighters we've ever had in the company, moving up to 45, Aljamain the Funk Master Sterling. Sterling looked absolutely phenomenal in his featherweight debut at UFC 300 against Calvin Kattar. Absolutely dominated Calvin, but Movsar Evloev is absolutely unblemished in his career. He has a win over Diego Lopez, which a lot of people like act
Enough
like Diego
said.
Lopez won that fight, but no, Diego Lopez got credit because he did well against someone like Movsar, not because he won. Movsar Evloev is an absolute savage. He's a beast. He beat Arnold Allen as well. A lot of people didn't want to give him his credit when he beat Arnold Allen, saying, oh, it was a robbery. Common theme of Mozart's career is a lot of people, the fans, the casuals, they don't want to give this dude his credit. This is a very interesting matchup. I feel like Movsar Evloev, this is my lock pick of the night. I'm going to go Movsar Evloev by decision. Both guys are grappling heavy. I'm going to go with the bigger, naturally bigger grappler. He's also from Russia. Usually the Russian grapplers got a little bit more in the tank to keep grappling all fight long than the American fighters. I'm going Movsar Evloev by decision. It's gonna be boring, but Movsar Evloev is gonna show his level.
You trying to say they on EPO, man? What you trying to say, bro?
Hey man, they're on whatever they need to be on to win these fights, brother.
No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I mean, listen, that's all hearsay, you feel me? But man, initially looking at this fight, man, I was really going with the underdog pick. Aljamain Sterling. Dude is a champion, a champion's champion, bro. He's fought so many former champions, has so much experience. Is Movsar Evloev really ready for that jump up? He is the favorite. Movsar is the favorite, and rightfully so. But dude's kind of a decision merchant. I mean, so is Aljamain. But I just feel like everything that Aljamain Sterling does and that he's well at, which is the grappling, I feel like Movsar Evloev can compete with him, man. He could really match him on that ground.
Exactly.
And just to stand up, Movsar is just a little bit better, man. Everyone saw that
Exactly.
war with
Arnold Allen.
Diego Lopez, Arnold Allen. Like, come on. Like, if he could stand with those guys, he can definitely stand with Aljo. And Aljo, if he can take this to the ground first, get those, advantageous positions, he could definitely pull off an upset. But then would it be an upset? Because he's a former champion. You feel me? Like, it's crazy that he's an underdog on this one, which is crazy. If I was a betting man, I might jump to that one. But
Movsar is bigger than Aljo though. This is up a weight class. They're both grapplers, and the bigger grappler tends to win these types of fights.
yeah, on paper, this is a very, very even matchup. But I think Movsar got this one, man. I feel like the UFC had been waiting to give Aljo some kind of L because dude just keeps winning.
Yes,
Dude
sir.
just keeps on winning, keeps on sticking his middle finger to the brass and say, "Yo, bring him on, yo." And now they give him the undefeated Russian, man. The undefeated Russian. This is gonna be a test of all tests. I mean, this is gonna be harder than the title fight for Aljo, if you ask me.
This is his toughest fight in his
This is
career,
gonna be the
and this is
toughest
a
fight.
champ.
Yeah. And I could really see Movsar being a champion at 145. I could really see him having the tools to beat Top Toro. But I can't really pick against Movsar on this one, man. I'm gonna have to go with he is a decision merchant, so Evloev by decision. But Aljamain is that dude, man, and I could really see him winning
Upset
this one.
potential's there.
The upset potential is very much alive, very much alive. But then how? The question is how, because Evloev is
Submission.
just as good on the ground, and he's probably better on the stand up. So it's like, which way do you take? So and for that reason, because I don't see an easy path for Aljo, I'm gonna have to go with Movsar Evloev to win this one by
Mm.
decision.
Yes, sir. We're in agreement on this one. Very interesting fight. I do feel like early on the chance is there for Aljo to catch up a Gilly, snatch that Gilly, and get him out of there when they're both fresh. No, not too much sweating.
I
But
mean, if he could do what he did against Peter Yan, just backpack him for 3 rounds and just hold him there. I mean, I could see him winning that. But then again, he could have finished Peter Yan in 3 rounds on his back. So I don't know. I got Evloev.
yeah, I agree. On to the next matchup, we have one of my favorite fighters in Vicente, the silent assassin, Luque, absolute killer, man, taking on a rising contender in the welterweight division, Themba Gorimbo. Themba coming in as a minus 210 favorite over Vicente. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Vicente, man, ever since Jeff Neal gave that boy a brain hemorrhage, man, Vicente has not looked the same. He's looked slow. He's looked sluggish. He's only 33 years of age. He's not that old, but the problem with Vicente is he's just taking way too much damage, man. I'm gonna honestly, this is a very. I love Vicente, but it's a very easy pick for me. Themba Gorimbo, he's shown in his last couple fights he could wrestle. He has good cardio. He has good volume. He's not particularly elite at striking or wrestling, but he's just willing to go at it, man. Scrap. He's durable. He's fresh. He's not too damaged. I'm gonna go Themba Gorimbo. I'm gonna go by unanimous decision. I don't think it's gonna be overly impressive, but I do think Themba's just gonna edge him out in a decision.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. Vicente Luque hasn't looked the best in his last couple fights, like 1-4 in his last four. And he got knocked out badly by Buck, man. That was a bad one. I didn't like
Yeah.
that one. And then Jeff Neal, he lost to him badly. Bilal Muhammad, I can understand that. Bilal wanted that one back because he beat Bilal a long time ago, so I understand that. And then he beat Chiesa before that, which is not impressive. You feel me? Both these guys are the same age. Vicente Luque, man, it's hard to pick against him, man, because he's so good everywhere, grappling, striking. Dude has the full arsenal, the full package, whatever you want to call it. He got it. But at the same, bro, that chin can only you can only take so much HP, man, on that chin, bro. Once it's gone, it's kind of gone, and it don't really like recover the same. So for that reason, man, just for all that wear and tear on his body, all that shit, I'm gonna have to go with Themba Gorimbo winning this one, man. I think, and honestly, the UFC's on his side too, man. That the whole Raw campaign, and he's a fan favorite, but Zimbabwe, he's probably the only fighter from Zimbabwe, I think. Maybe one of like maybe two or three, if I'm
Like
not
the only person from Zimbabwe.
probably, yeah, probably the only one. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Themba. Like you said, this was an easy pick. Vicente hasn't looked the same. It would suck to see him lose another one, man, especially to a guy that I know he could beat, but just not his day and time anymore, man. I got Themba winning this by decision.
Yes, sir, man. The game is brutal. It's a brutal business. Vicente, once upon a time, could have been a championship level guy, and now he can't even beat the likes of Themba Gorimbo, man. That's what the UFC is all about. On to the next one. In the light heavyweight division, we have on paper Anthony Smith taking on Dominick Reyes. Dominick Reyes, the man who beat John Jones, quote unquote. When he fought John Jones, Dominick Reyes was an absolute killer, man. I don't think there's many people on the whole roster that could give Dominick Reyes a run for his money. But as of late, he's been a little chinny. He's been a little gun shy. He did look very good against Dustin Jacoby in his last fight. That was his first victory in a long time. Anthony Smith has been declining for a minute now. Dominick Reyes has also declined, but it seems like he's trying to come back. So for that reason only, I'm going Dominick Reyes. I think he's going to be able to find that knockout blow. His striking's just way better than Anthony Smith's. And I don't think Anthony Smith has enough power to hurt Dominick Reyes, who's shown to be a chinny fighter. But it's not, I don't think that's going to come into play this fight because Anthony Smith, I don't think he got enough heat to put that pressure on Dom Reyes. I'm going Dom Reyes by straight left hand knockout.
Good analysis over there. I'm laughing because that's his only move. You know what I
Straight
mean?
left.
So that being said, man, I do want to emphasize that Anthony Smith, he could be having the worst stylistic fight, and then he'll just pull it out the bag. Like that Vitor Petrino victory that he just pulled out the bag, which shocked me, bro. That was a shocking victory for me. So, he does have the tools to, just kind of sneak one away, whatever. But I don't see him winning against Dominick Reyes. I feel like those 2 years off for Dominick Reyes after those three straight knockouts helped him recover his chin, helped him recover a little bit just to get his mind off the fight game,
Just
just to
enough not to
reset.
get dusted by the first punch, right?
Exactly. And he comes back. He looked really good against Dustin Jacoby, got that knockout in the first round. I know he was happy happy seeing that after what he just went through after John Jones. So both these guys are strikers. Smith, I mean, this dude fights everybody, man. So I'm gonna have to go with Dominic Reyes. I think he wins this. Does he get the finish? I don't think so. I think he wins this by decision. Um, but I don't see Anthony Smith winning this one, man. I feel like he just might be too slow, might be too old. And plus he's doing the commentary thing now, so I feel like he has a lot going on. I don't think he's training right. But Dominic Reyes on the other side, this is all he got, man. This is all he got. His claim to fame is beating John Jones or getting robbed by him. You feel me? So it's like he needs to kind of make a little run for himself, just to get his name up there. So I got Dominic Reyes winning this by decision.
Yes, sir. Moving on to the men's featherweight division, we have the Korean Superboy Doo Choi making a comeback, man. He was gone for a while, but he had a draw against in his comeback fight. He had a draw against Kyle Nelson. Then just picked up most recently. His last victory was a knockout victory over Bill Algeo. On the other hand, we have Nate the Train in the UFC. Nate Landwehr, man. Nate Landwehr is an absolute beast. His only loss so far in the UFC is against Dan Ige. We all know Dan Ige is an absolute beast in that featherweight division. This matchup, I'm not gonna lie to you, is another easy pick for me, man. I'm going Nate the Train, and I think he's gonna get a finish on the Korean Superboy. Korean
Yeah.
Superboy's shown he's a little chinny man recently.
Yeah.
Hasn't been the same fighter since that Cub Swanson war. He had a
Well,
4 year layoff.
yeah.
I'm just
Well,
gonna go with Nate the Train in this one, man. I don't even have to think too hard about it. I think there's multiple avenues Nate the Train could get it done. He can wrestle him, he can strike with him, he can knock him out, he can grind him out. So I'm going Nate the Train.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. I like Nate to train in this one. Nate Landwehr, but dude's a crowd favorite, so I'm not surprised they put him on the main card. I am surprised they put them over Aljamain Sterling and Evloev, which is crazy. That being said, that 4 year layoff, was he doing military service in Korea? That was probably the reason why he was out because he got knocked out by Charles Jourdain, and then we hadn't seen him in like 4 years. He comes back, he's looking good. But then is he on Nate the Train's level? I think Nate the Train he's just a better overall fighter everywhere. He's more of a dog. And he shows that dog in a lot of his fights, man. Dude just has straight heart. And he comes to fight, man. He don't back down from nobody. So I'm gonna have to go Nate the Train. This was an easy prediction, like you said. He is a little bit older though. Nate is a little bit older. Y'all know how I feel about that. But then he got that dog in him, man. So I don't think it's even gonna matter in this one. I
Yes,
got Nate winning
sir.
this by decision.
Yes, sir. Moving on to the next matchup we have again in the men's featherweight division. Uncle Dana Privilege, Kron Gracie getting a ranked fighter in his return fight after a couple year layoff. Crazy. Bryce Mitchell, the earth is flat, taking on Kron, the bloodline Gracie. Bryce Mitchell is a grappler. Kron Gracie is a grappler. It's a very interesting fight. I do feel like Kron Gracie should have the edge in jiu-jitsu. Quotation marks around should. He should have better jiu-jitsu, but I feel like Bryce Mitchell's going to school him, whether it be jiu-jitsu, wrestling, or striking. I think Bryce Mitchell got this. It's going to be an easy matchup. They're trying to give Kron Gracie a ranking in the UFC featherweight division. It's not going to work. This dude couldn't beat an old Cub Swanson. This dude couldn't beat Charles Jourdain. He couldn't out-grapple either fighter either. I'm going to go with Bryce Mitchell. He's a much better grappler than Cub Swanson and Charles Jourdain. It's going to be easy work for Thug Nasty. Give me your thoughts.
The return of the bloodline, man. The Gracie bloodline is back. But damn, man, they could have put this card on the early prelims. Like this fight on the early prelims. Like, what's good with that? You feel me? Like, I do have a big, I guess what do you call it? I got a bone to pick with the UFC. Why they putting Aljamain on the early prelims? That's messed up, disrespectful.
They should swap
But
these
then
fights.
and then they put Kron Gracie on the main card, which is crazy. I hope they switch that up. I hope this is not just like what they always switch it up last minute. So we'll see. That's remains to be seen. But then looking at the odds for this fight, man, Bryce Mitchell was a heavy favorite. And for good reason. Bryce Mitchell was that dude up until he got fraud checked well, I wouldn't say he got fraud checked, but Topuria just beat the shit out of him. And then he got knocked out crazy by Josh Emmett, and he hasn't really been the same since. And that being said, man, he's still 30 years old, still young. He still got that youthful energy in him, man. I see him winning this one easy. He could probably even get this submission, get him out of there. Kron Gracie took off like 4 years, comes back, and it looks like shit against Charles Jourdain. So yeah,
Submission is crazy though. I don't think he'll submit him, but I do think he'll beat him easy.
yo, Bryce Mitchell's that dude on the ground. Yeah, a lot of people don't know, man. Bryce
No, no,
Mitchell's
no.
a dude on the
Bryce
ground.
Mitchell's elite, bro, but Chrome Gracie's just in jujitsu and submissions. He's a problem, man.
Hey, listen, if he pulls out the submission, that'd be I would be very impressed. So that's why I'm gonna go with the submission. I think he can get it. He has 9 subs on his record. So you know the fans want this fight to go to the ground. We want to
Bryce
see
Mitchell
some hell
has a
of a
twister
grappling in this
victory,
one.
man. Not too many people got that.
Hey, and that was a beautiful twister victory too. Twister submission. So I'm mumbling up my words right now. But that being said, man, I'm gonna have to go with Bryce Mitchell winning this one. I think he can win this by submission. That's what I'm gonna go with. But Kron Gracie, I don't see any path for a victory for him, to be honest with you.
Yes, sir. On to the next one. We have the men's heavyweight division. We have Cyril Bongamin Gan taking on Alexander Drago Volkov. Volkov coming in at 6'7". Cyril Gane coming in at 6'4". Both guys are 255 pounds plus. These are heavy hitters, heavy men, strong men,
Hey
tall men.
yo, hey yo.
Hey yo, I'm glazing right now, but hey man, I'm excited for this fight. The last time these two men matched up, Cyril Gane came away with the unanimous decision victory, and it wasn't even all that close. He won all 5 rounds on 2 of the judges' scorecards. Volkov has been looking better as of late. Cyril Gane seems to be like he's staying still. He's not really improving. He's not really declining. He's just staying at that same level. Has Volkov been able to close the gap in skill enough? I doubt it. I'm still going to go Cyril Gane, but I don't think it's going to be a 5-zip shutout. I do think it's going to be 4-1, 3-2 decision. I'm going Cyril Gane again, though, man. He's just too fast, too technical, too accurate at that heavyweight division on the feet, man. And Volkov has no grappling to offer. So I'm definitely going Cyril Gane by unanimous decision victory.
Yeah, I like Bongamin in this one. I just watched that Netflix show with him in it. So dude's been busy outside the ring. He hasn't fought since September 2023. About a year and 3 months that he's been out. So I hope he's still been putting in that work. I hope he's not like distracted or whatever. But that being said, man, Volkov is just a tailor-made matchup for Cyril Gane. I think that's just an easy win for him. He's just a much better kickboxer striker in that sense. Volkov is a big ass dude, so I can see why his size would work up against a lot of other heavyweights. But Cyril Gane is just as big, 6'4", and they're both strikers, so this is a tailor-made matchup for Cyril Gane. I think he can win this one again, even with all that time off. Volkov has been looking very impressive as of late, putting up a nice win streak. But Cyril Gane is just he's just better in everything that Volkov is good at. So for that reason, I'm gonna have to go with Cyril Gane winning this. He might even get the TKO finish, man. Get him out of there quick.
Yes, sir. On to the next one. We have the co-main event of the evening. Shavkat Rakhmonov taking on Ian Machado Garry. Both fighters undefeated. Two undefeated prospects coming in. One man will leave with his undefeated record and a title shot. Super high stakes in this one. We got Kazakhstan's finest taking on the next Conor McGregor, quote unquote, from Ireland. Ian Machado, Garry, super crisp striking. Shavkat Rakhmonov. It's not crisp, man, but it works. He's gonna walk you down. He's gonna beat you up, and if he can't do that, he's gonna take you down. He's gonna choke you out. This is a crazy matchup. We're gonna have to talk about this more in depth. Give me your initial thoughts on it.
Initial thoughts, man. What a banger of a fight. What a way to close out the year for the UFC. I know this is the co-main, but this is the people's main event, man. This is the fight that everybody buying that pay-per-view wants to see. Both undefeated fighters. Shavkat 100% finish rate. Ian Machado Garry straight up dog for accepting this fight. A little backstory, these two have trained. There are rumors that Shavkat knocked him spark out, which is crazy because I don't see people bringing that up now, so I'm not sure how true those rumors were. Initial thoughts, man, I'm gonna have to go with Shavkat. I think he's just a better fighter overall. They have trained together. Shavkat did say that, listen, I could see Ian Machado being a champion, a future champion, but after your boy, after me. So that being said, I feel like you have to have a certain level of confidence to boost up and complement other fighters that you're training with, that you're sparring with. I feel like you just have to have that confidence, and I feel like Shavkat has it, man. That humble confidence, like, yo, you could be a champion, but not if I'm in my prime. You feel me? Like, Ian Machado's still young, 27 years old. I gotta stop calling him Machado because his name is Ian Garry. I don't want to call him his wife's name, but that's another that's another story. But Shavkat, I just think he's that dog, man, the boogeyman of the welterweight division. Like the championship is basically his, man. Bilal Muhammad and him, they got a date settled.
I
So
don't know about all that. Bully B, man. Bully B,
ah.
man. Don't
Listen,
sleep.
man, listen. Shavkat trained with the GOAT of all GOAT trainers, Abdul Manapovich Nurmagomedov. You know that dude don't miss. That dude
For
don't
sure.
miss, man. He's
For
one of the
sure.
Ninja Turtles, but nobody even talks about it.
For sure, man.
So I'm gonna have to go with Shavkat. Does he get the finish though? Does he continue that 100% finish rate? I don't know. At the highest level, I don't see that happening. But that being said, man, I think Shavkat knocks him out in front of everybody now, man. He puts
Sheesh.
out Ian Gary's lights out,
Keeps that 100%.
keeps that 100% onto the title fight. Man, this honestly, if you could see
It's a
my
crazy fight.
this is a crazy fight, man. All the hair on my body is just standing up. I'm just excited for this one. No Diddy. This is the main event for me right here, man. If I miss any other fight and I watch this one, I'll be happy because this is that one fight that you want to see as a hardcore fan. Like
Yes, sir.
this got all the makings of a great matchup, and it could be one of those fights where we saw like Islam and Volk. I don't want to go off on a rant too much, but I could really see Shavkat winning this one. And the manner in which he wins is very unknown because Ian Gary, I feel like he's gonna come in, take that Wonder Boy approach. He's gonna, do a little distance management, try to point fight him. But then Shavkat is just that dude, man. He's gonna keep that relentless pressure. And even when Shavkat gets hit, man, dude just turns into a freaking zombie and just like straight comes at you crazy. No Diddy.
Whoa.
But yeah, man, give us your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna go. It's a hot take, by the way. I'm going Shavkat Rakhmonov by submission, and I think he's gonna
Ooh.
do it very quickly, within the first two rounds. Quick. That's what we're talking here. Little birdie. I've heard some rumors that Shavkat Rakhmonov, the striking in between them in the sparring was close, but I also heard Shavkat was able to take down Ian Machado Garry with ease and he was able to find submissions. Just off that information alone, I'm going with Shavkat by submission, man. I don't know if he's going to be able to knock out Ian Garry. He's too crisp. He's too technical. He's going to point fight him. He's going to run away from that pressure. I don't know if he's going to be able to find that knockout blow if he wants to go strike with Ian Garry. Therefore, if he does keep that 100% finish rate, it's going to have to be by submission. And I do feel like there's multiple avenues for him to win this fight by submission. Shavkat Rakhmonov is going to put a lot of pressure on Ian Garry. Ian Gary's going to try to run away from that pressure. Eventually, he's going to get him cornered. He's going to go for a body lock. He might be able to get him down. Look, and then once he's down, there's an array of submissions Shavkat could get you away. He doesn't even need to take you down, as we saw in that Jeff Neal fight. If he gets behind you, pause, he gonna put you lock up that rear naked choke and get you up out of there, man. Shavkat Rakhmonov has a lot of killer instinct. He doesn't even he can get you out of there standing. He can get you out of there on the ground. He can get you out of there with the hands. He can get you out of there with the kicks. Shavkat Rakhmonov is an absolute killer. I'm going Shavkat by submission, round number two. Give
Bro,
me,
Shavkat's like, in my opinion, he's the best fighter from Kill Cliff, which is one of the best gyms in the world.
yes, sir.
So that alone will tell you enough. Ian Machado Garry, he's like a nomad when it comes to training. He goes to he trained at Kill Cliff. He
He
trains.
be letting his wife sleep with his teammates. That's
Hey,
why.
hey, 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 we not throwing some allegations out there. Don't turn into MMA guru right now, fam.
Let me stop. Let me stop.
Well, now he trains at Shoot Box, and his grappling did look very good against MVP, but that was MVP. This is Shavkat
This ain't
Rakhmonov,
no
a
MVP, man.
nomad. You feel me? Like this is the Mongolian dude. This is the dude back in the 18th century will come riding on horseback to your village, rape your woman, and you want to do shit about it. You feel me? Like this is that aura right
This is
here.
who Conor McGregor thought he was when he fought Jose Aldo. Well, he's
And
really
you know that
that.
speech that yo, bro. Connor's shit talking is A1, bro. Anyways, let's not go off.
Let's not go on a
Yeah,
tangent.
Shavkat, man. I think he wins this one. Gary, I don't see too many paths for him for victory, but he accepted this fight last minute. He probably knows something that we don't. So you have to tip your hat off to him, respect, because he was being, I'm not gonna lie, he was the butt of a lot of jokes in the UFC. He was, people were cutting ass on him, losing a lot of respect. Undefeated fighter, just straight up getting disrespected by the masses. So I think this one really tipped off. People are tipping their hats to him for this one. A lot of respect for accepting this fight. He took it on last minute though, took it on short notice, but he might know something that we don't. They did train together. We mentioned that already. So very interesting fight. Very excited to see what happens in this one. But let's move on to the main event, man.
On to the main event. We have Japan's Kai Asakura taking on the dominant 125 champ Alexander Pantoja. Pantoja's lapping the division. He's starting to pick up his second win on some of these dudes. They had to bring in somebody outside the promotion to give him a fresh challenge. Kai Asakura, rising champ, taking on UFC champ Alexander Pantoja. They're going to unify the two promotions titles. The winner is going to have basically both belts. You know what I mean? Not officially, but it's going to get unified. We're going to see who the true best 125er is. The East, the East side's best, Kai Asakura taking on the best Western fighter in Alexander Pantoja. The winner of this is the true, undoubted number one flyweight in the world. Very, very, very hyped up matchup. I do feel like Kai Asakura has a big, big, big edge in the striking. But on the other hand, I feel like Pantoja has a very big edge in the grappling. It's a super interesting match. It's the age-old stylistic clash between striker versus grappler. In that case, you tend to go with the grappler, but I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna go with the upset. I think Kai Asakura, man, Dana White and company's putting a lot of stock in this boy. And for all of it to just backfire, I don't see that happening. They got to be confident that Kai Asakura is about to come in and knock this boy out. They got Kai training with Marab in the PI. You know, Uncle Dana's pulling strings, getting Kai Asakura all the best sparring partners because they want this dude to win. I'm gonna go Kai, man.
Yeah, Kai been training out of Syndicate MMA with Merab Dvalishvili. So he's been working on that wrestling. But then Merab is really not the best. He's a good wrestler, but he's not like the best grappler. He's not like the best submission artist, all that. I'm gonna have to disagree with you, man. I'm sorry, man. I don't see any way Alessandro Pantoja loses this fight, man. We all saw We also saw another Ryzen guy get checked by Brandon Royval. I forget his name right now. And now Alexandre Pantoja about to do the same thing with Kai Asakura, man. You can't really just come into the UFC and fight the best of the best in the UFC and expect to win coming from a different organization that's predominantly like kickboxing, that's predominantly striking. Pantoja got the whole game, man. The UFC needs to call up Makayev if they want Pantoja to lose. That's the only guy that could really beat him in that division, in my opinion.
Mokaev working at McDonald's right now.
Well, he went back. I think he went back to Ryzen or whatever promotion he used to fight at before.
Cage Brave FC or something.
It might have been Brave, one of those, one of those.
Yeah.
But back to this fight, man. Yo, Kai Sakura is a bigger dude. He's 5'8". You know what I'm saying? That's pretty big for a flyweight.
It's massive for a
But
flyweight.
yeah, yeah, I could see him, but Pantoja, man. Bro, if you have longer limbs, Pantoja's gonna break him off. You feel me? Dude just got that grappling on lock, man. I'm sure he's a black belt. You feel me? Like, I don't see any way Pantoja loses this fight, man. Dude is just one of the best mixed
I
martial
feel
artists.
like Steve Erceg was very close to beating Alexander Pantoja, and I'm not gonna lie to you, Kai Asakura is a much better striker than Steve Erceg. Just throwing that out there.
I know, but it's that grappling, man. It's that
Yeah, I
wrestling.
hear you. I
He's
hear
gonna be
you.
able to mix it up. He's just a beast, man. Pantoja, like the best. And I feel like the
He's the
UFC
best
needs,
all arounder. He's the best
yeah,
all
like
rounder. Yeah.
yeah. I don't see him losing like that. I feel like they should have slowly built Kai Sakura up. You know what I'm saying? Give him a couple things, but give him a couple of fights just to like show him the level of UFC. You know, give him a little training and all that. They're throwing him to the title immediately. I don't think that's a good recipe for success. I think Pantoja comes out, looks dominant. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, Kai Sakura is gonna get a lot of pay-per-view buys. He's gonna get a lot of fan reactions, a lot of fan, what's the word I'm looking for? Coverage or whatever the word I'm looking for. I can't even think straight right now. But I see Pantoja winning this any way he wants, man. I think he wins this by unanimous decision, 5 rounds to none. I think he just puts on a masterclass, man.
Yeah, man, we're on the opposite ends of the spectrum. I'm on the end that Uncle Dana and Co are not gonna put all this money and all this promotional value on Kai Asakura, and they think that this dude's gonna lose this matchup. I feel like it's a very favorable matchup. I think people are not, they're just looking at it as striker versus grappler. But Kai Asakura, man, he is a striker, but he's shown his grappling defense has been improving fight to fight, man. I'm not saying he's an expert ground, you know what I mean? He's not no freaking Kamaru Usman or anything, but he's solid takedown defense. He's a lot taller than Pantoja. He has more reach. I feel like he's gonna piece this boy up, man. He's gonna stuff the takedowns just enough to get that edge out, that unanimous decision victory. I'm going Kai Asakura. We're gonna have a new flyweight champion, and it's gonna be a guy who won the title in his debut fight. It's gonna be a super impressive, historic night. Yeah, man, and that's Full Guard MMA. It's been a pleasure, man. I haven't seen y'all in a minute, and we out.
Peace.